Hello everyone. I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy in these challenging times. The focus of the equity market has shifted from survival to revival, with the lockdown being lifted and India moving to the phase of Unlock 2.0. The market sentiment has improved and has been supported by a gradual resumption in business activity. Capacity utilization and supply chains have started moving. The high frequency economic indicators we track show an improvement in economic activity from the lows of March and April, with different indicators moving at different speeds. Unemployment levels, for example, as estimated by the CMIE survey, has dropped from a peak of 27% to 8.6% for the week ended June 28th. Daily payments data showed that the daily average UPI transaction value in June was at an all time high. Similarly, data on e way bills generated and railway freight continues to remain incrementally positive on a week on week basis. Some part of this improvement is likely to be pent up demand and some is normal demand. However, it is difficult to distinguish between the two, and the sustainability of the improving trend of economic indicators would be crucial for the markets. We expect to see activity levels coming back to some degree of normalcy closer to the festive season, and in that respect, we would likely see better trends during the period October to March. Global equity markets too have been buoyant over the last month, with most countries emerging from a lockdown situation. Hopes of continued monetary and fiscal stimulus remain alive. The central banks the world over have infused liquidity in order to support their economies. However, we must not forget the risk of a second wave of the coronavirus. Further, the rhetoric around the US presidential elections remains high, and the outcome would likely be closely monitored by the markets. On the COVID front, India continues to record a steady rise in the number of cases. What is somewhat heartening is the rise in the recovery rate and also the positive development on the effectiveness of a few drugs, including remdesivir and favipiravir, even while we are still some time away from finding a vaccine for the disease. Now, unlike the previous crisis in 2008 and 2013, the Indian economy is significantly better placed on the external front. With oil prices remaining benign and strong FDI flows, the balance of payment is likely to be positive in FY21. Further, RBI has also been amassing forex reserves, which are now in excess of $510 billion, which roughly translates into 14 months of imports. Moreover, with inflation remaining benign and below RBI's targeted level of 4% plus minus 2%, there is room for the central bank to cut policy rates further. From here on, we expect that economic activity would resume, and therefore we do assign a lower probability to the markets touching the levels seen in March. The pace of return to normalization would be the key, along with the trends of the coronavirus case curve. Supply of labor in India, however, remains one of the key challenges, with the migration of the laborers from the urban to the rural centers. Border tension with China would also remain a key monitorable along with the spread of the virus. Now, with this background, we have a few key themes in mind while investing. Theme 1. Recovery in rural India appears to be outpacing the urban centers. This is because a large percentage of COVID cases are concentrated in the top cities. There has also been an increased government spend on the rural segment. As per CMIE, the Universal Employment Guarantee Scheme (MNREGA) registered a sharp increase in person days of employment in May versus trend in January and February. The monsoon season is also off to a good start, and consequently, the summer crop, which is Kharif, sowing has also picked up early. The monsoon coverage in July would be crucial for the Kharif crop. The hike in the minimum support prices or MSP, as well as improvement in cash flow post the Rabi crop harvest, has all led to improvement in rural demand. Theme 2. Consolidation and market share shifts. Now, signs of consolidation across sectors were visible even prior to COVID, especially in industries such as cement, telecom, and aviation. This trend is now gaining traction and will be widespread across most sectors. Companies with strong balance sheet and low leverage and the ability to raise capital will continue to gain market share in their respective industries. The pace of shift from the unorganized to the organized sector is also likely to accelerate. Theme 3. Stocks belonging to the real economy present significant opportunity over the next 18 to 24 month period. With liquidity being ample and RBI cutting rates, the cost of capital is coming down significantly. Consolidation will likely lead to better pricing power. The flow of credit will also likely improve towards better placed companies across sectors, and there is significant under ownership among the domestic economy facing sectors. Theme 4. Supply chain shifts away from China. COVID has resulted in many companies wanting to reduce their supply chain dependency on China. This presents a huge opportunity for countries such as India to capture a share in the world manufacturing setup. Now, along with the reforms that have already been undertaken, land and labor reforms would be the need of the hour in order to facilitate the ease of doing business in India. Now, the last 2 years have seen significant polarization of the markets. A large part of the gains pre-COVID was led by a few large cap stocks. Hence, there has been a huge differential between the valuations of large caps and mid caps. Even within the Nifty, a large part of the gains was actually driven by the top 15 stocks. We believe that as the economy starts to move back to normalcy over the next 12 to 18 month period, the valuation differential between the mid caps and the large caps should also start to narrow. This presents a significant opportunity within the mid-cap space. Now, given this backdrop, we continue with our disciplined approach to investing and we follow an investment philosophy of growth at a reasonable price. We are focusing on companies with low leverage or debt, strong balance sheets and cash flow position, low fixed cost structures, good quality management and governance. We have been of the view that the time in the market is more important than timing the market. We therefore advise investors to keep investing through mutual funds in a systematic manner for the medium to long term, keeping in mind individual risk profile and return expectations. Life actually is an immense analogy with stock markets. It is volatile, but if you stick on long enough, it has the potential to reward you. So stay safe, stay healthy, and stay invested. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.